So now I'm going to tell you the story of how Irreverent Reverend came about. So one day I was home watching the ID channel as usual, and I saw church come on, and I think it was on one of their series called Nightmare Next Door. And this church came on, and I'm like, wait a minute. I see several people in that church that I know because I used to go to the church a few years ago because I'd moved out of the area. And I think they showed the pastor's wife and the pastor. And I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? Because I just went to the church a few years ago. So the thing is that a girl in the 90s, like the late 1990s, she went to the church and I guess her vehicle ran out of gas and she took a ride from a man in a church van and he killed her and dumped her body in the area where I used to live. And I was so shocked and saddened by that it happened to her. And I'm like, why can't men just see a woman and leave her alone? Just help the woman, leave her alone so she can go back home. And the thing is that in that area, where it happened, like I said, long before I even moved into the area. But when I lived in that area, I didn't have a vehicle. And when I would go shopping, walking with the grocery bags, and a couple of times I did take a ride from strangers who asked me, men who asked me if I wanted a ride home. And I'm like, yep. And I'm telling you, if a church man in a church van had stopped and asked me if I wanted a ride home, I would have said yes. And I would have accepted the ride because I normally hope that when I accept a ride, nothing bad will happen. And thank God it never did, so I was always able to get home safely. But I'm not gonna lie to you, a man in a church van, because people are wicked and evil. But it's like when you see church, you tend to forget. And just like how she got in the van, I'm sure I would have gotten in that van and taken a ride with that person. But I'm glad that we never crossed paths, and I believe the man is on death row now, so he can't do that to another person. And so that is the story of how Irreverent Reverend came about in my book. Now, I didn't write the exact thing because my stories are loosely based on true crime. So you'll have to get the book so you can find out what happened to the girl in the story of Irreverent Reverend that I wrote, and read some of the other stories as well, because they're very interesting, and you'll enjoy also the information that I put, that what you can learn, because these are cautionary tales of what I put in the book. And so again, it's this book, what I learned from watching the True Crime ID channel. In this incredible world that we live in, one thing is very relentless, is evil, which lurks around every corner, waiting to attack an available victim. Are you next? And what would you do? So buy the book and give me a review, and please support me. Thank you.